child in the way they should go. And when they are grown, they will not depart from it. But what if they are departing from it? What happens? Hi, everybody. My name is Anne Okello. Welcome to yet again another episode here in Be Family Wise. This is a place where we build godly families and families that we are proud of. And today we are talking about teenagers, and we'll be speaking to somebody who spends a lot of time with them, and she is going to be giving us, a glimpse into their world. What is happening with them? What are the challenges? What are the struggles? What are we doing right or wrong as parents? Or as those who are instructed to raise them up in the way they should go. And when they are old, they will not depart from it. So what is where when the statistics, when the information out there looks like quite a number of them are not headed to where we parents would want them to. So I'm seated with Jen, and Jen will introduce herself. She'll tell us her full names, and she'll tell us what it is that she does, and especially with teenagers.
Thank you, Anne. I'm glad to be here.
All right.
And this is a conversation we need to have more often.
All right.
Because the teenagehood period, they are usually not placed somewhere where they are remembered. It's either a child or an adult.
Oh.
So I'm glad that we are having this conversation.
All right. So we forget the in between.
We forget everywhere when you go, the teens ministry or the teens, they are somewhere at that corner, and they are not really considered that much because they tend to hide themselves.
All right.
So yeah, it's good to see more of us having that conversation.
All right. And it sounds like we're already jumping into it. But let's start with an introduction. Tell us about yourself. Tell us about give us your full names and tell us what it is that you do.
Okay, my name is Jane Karaoke. I am a clinical psychologist by profession, but I didn't start there. I started as a clinical officer. I trained as a clinician.
Okay.
So after that, that's when now we go towards our passion. And I realized that talking to people and the young people, because I interacted a lot with them in the early years in volunteership. That's when I noticed there's a gap here in the teen period. And so as I worked with them, I started reaching out to them. And in the process, we would work with them and challenges would occur back at home. And then we go back to ground zero. So that's how I realized they also needed to enter into the parenting space.
All right.
So that's how I ended up founding Parent Teen Kenya, which is an organization where we empower families for the teenage years and beyond.
All right.
So that is basically what we do. We do trainings for both the adolescent and the parents, and for the therapy session, I'm majoring more on the teens and young adults.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So and let me start from there. I think there's a tendency for many of us, even though it's not spoken, to sort of be afraid of teenagers because we feel like we do not know how to deal with them. Wasn't that a concern for you at that point, or what really gave you that the boldness and the courage of I can step right into it?
I think for me it's because I started when after high school I went to volunteer to a children's home.
Okay.
So yes, I was still a teen and interacting with teens in high school.
Okay.
So I think somehow I grew into it. When I was in college and campus, I would go back to volunteer during the campus break. So somehow then I grew into it, and so for me, I don't consider them that scary as people would like saying. But yes, I know during that period they tend to be closed in. They tend to really show, especially the current teens that we are having, their attitude. They will just show it on their faces, their body language. But for me, when I have discussions, I ask them a question, maybe it's a group work or something, they will roll their eyes and I will smile when they roll their eyes. And we will continue with what we are having conversation. So I think so for me, also dealing with the attitude, knowing that it's not me that they're against, it's just them and the period they are going through. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And I love that when you realize that it's not necessarily about you, it's just a season and a phase that they're in. But I want to begin here that I believe many parents who have teenagers in their homes, in their houses, and I'm a mom to a teen, and I believe many parents are conflicted or perhaps wondering, especially those who are believers, probably wondering, did God's word lie or what is happening? Because the word of God says that we raise them up, the children, in the ways that they should go. And, when they're grown, they will not depart from it. But it looks like quite a number of them find themselves in spaces of detour and disconnection. And thank God that is a God of grace and redemption. And I know a majority of them eventually are able to find their way back. But before that happens, I mean, that tension, that conflict can cause a lot of pain for them, for the parents, and even in the families. And I am not a believer in this question of what is wrong with children nowadays. I'm not a believer in that because I believe there's nothing wrong with children nowadays. Children have always been children. Children of before, children of today, children are children. But the question is, or rather, my wonderings have been why we now are seeing more teenagers struggling with rebellion, identity crisis, struggling with their relationship with their parents, addictions, mental health challenges, faith crises, those kind of things. And I thought I want to talk to someone who can give us some insights into what is happening in the world and in the space of teens. And as you say, because they tend to be more closed up, most of us then do not have a real understanding of what is happening in their world, so to speak. So I want to begin by asking you, from your experience talking to teens, what are some of the biggest struggles that you're hearing that they're quietly carrying that we parents are not aware of?
We can start now from the angle of most of the time, one of the top reasons is that they are not understood.
Okay.
Okay, so this aspect of feeling a disconnection between them and the adults that are there.
Yeah.
So when you start, before now we start bringing in all those, the list that you just mentioned,
Yeah.
it is now from the foundation where they are at home. The basic unit is the basic unit of the family is the one that helps them to learn how to navigate and to handle life.
Okay.
So the first point is they are not understood and they feel like they're just being corrected most of the time without getting to the heart of wanting to win over the heart of this child. So even in therapy room, I'm realizing, even as I am continuing on, the teens or young adults I am having, most of them, they just want a connection or just to attach, an attachment, the basic attachment that we have with our parents when we're young, or the caregiver.
Yeah.
So eventually I realized they just want someone to have a conversation with, to laugh with, and to hear an affirmation that what they are doing is okay and all that. And that has really changed a bit, even how, because when I came in, I thought I am here to handle crisis. There you're mentioning those crises. And eventually I realized,
to fix.
Yes, the crisis is coming because the connection is not there. And for me, I sit there and sometimes I just say, this is something that the mom or the dad should be doing, seated here and just listening to what this teen is saying. So I would say the foundational reason is not being understood.
Okay.
Yeah.
So our teens feel like we do not understand them. And then, you know, many times we parents blame their struggles on things like social media and peer pressure, which I believe is part of it. But if I'm hearing you right, is that at the root cause of it is that we don't understand them. But then, which sounds almost like a conflict of they feel like we don't understand them. But we parents, on the other hand, feel like we're not even sure if they want to be understood because you're not opening up, you're not talking, you're not telling us what's going on. You're locking yourselves up in the room the whole time. You're on your earphones and headphones the entire time. So what is that about?
Okay.
Yeah.
Because the foundation, now, they are not being understood because they feel they are not being listened to.
Okay.
All right. So, and now the parent is coming, why aren't you listening? Why aren't you doing what I am saying? And then because now the teen is closing them. So because now the teen is feeling I'm not being understood and my parent is not listening, what will happen? They will look for other sources.
Okay.
So, and in comes in the friends, the peer pressure.
All right.
In comes in the social media.
All right.
And that world that is there, that now they feel I will go to my room, go there and just look for someone who will listen to me, or someone where I will be seen.
Okay.
If it's that photo that will cause me to get the likes, I am seen.
All right.
Because my parent is not seeing.
Because mommy is not noticing me. He's not seeing me.
And they are not there to see them. Okay. They are still at work.
All right.
Coming back after 9. Okay, and leaving by 6.
Yeah.
And over the weekend we are in other functions.
Okay.
And the like. So they are not they're not even being seen.
Okay.
So I'm posting this photo online and I'm being seen.
Yeah.
And then people are saying you're looking lovely and they're getting the likes. Woe to them.
Yeah.
If they get the opposite reaction.
Okay.
The peer pressure now coming in, they want affirmation.
Okay.
Because when they get to that age,
Yeah.
their brain centers that for the reward system is usually more activated.
Okay.
The reward, so they want to be rewarded. They want to feel, now I'm a child, I'm becoming an adult.
All right.
I want someone to say that I can do it. I want someone to affirm that this is, I am it. That and the likes. We are not there as parents.
Okay.
Or when we are there, we just want to correct.
All
so
right.
what happens? They go to their peers.
Okay.
Their peers will be there to receive them.
Yeah.
And they will be willing to do whatever it takes, whatever they are told to do,
for
them to feel that affirmation. And that's how eventually, for us as parents, without knowing it, we drive them towards some of these things we are against.
Okay.
Yeah. And that eventually now causes that. And eventually now when they find, quote unquote, where they say they find their tribe or they find their group, why do I need my parent? Why do I need to listen to you? Why do I need, let me go and lock myself in the room, interact with them, or let me just keep quiet for the evening. Tomorrow I'll go hang out with my people, because now the home, I no longer have my people here.
Okay.
Something. So that is what is slowly going through their mind.
And at any particular stage of life, every human being loves to be noticed, to be seen.
Exactly.
But if I'm hearing you right, is it that there's a higher need? There's sort of like an elevated need to be seen at that age when they're teenagers.
Yes, and I usually tell parents, because in the earlier years, them just being there, just, oh, cute baby, oh wow, oh, just everyone will call, oh, there, but now
everybody, by the way, oh baby,
oh
what, attention was around them.
Attention was around them. They didn't have to do anything, just their mere existence. Now
was enough to earn them attention.
And they were seen. Now they are teenagers. Everyone, now the society, the way we are, we see teens and somehow we frown without knowing it, or become cold towards them because they are teens. Because society, finally, we've managed to have this thing about, oh, that's a group of teens. Oh, whoa. Me too. So now they're wondering, and they're seeing. And they're seeing this shift, and they're wondering what is happening, that now I am no longer accepted for who I am. And then now the parent is there because they have these adult-like bodies. We forget they're still children. So now we demand.
So they are growing breasts, or their voice is changing for the boys, and so in our heads, this is no longer a child.
This is no longer a child. So they go from being cute and being seen to now being demanded that you need to prove yourself to be a person of worth. So it's about performance. It's about how you show up and all that. You know? And yet we forget this. They still need the parent to love them, to care, to embrace them, and all that. Even as they teach them how now to be an adult and all that. But that's this sudden shift that causes that confusion for the parent and both for the teenager to occur.
All right. And I'm listening to you, and I'm thinking, by the way, about something that I think I've not thought about it, but now it's coming to mind. The fact that I think we know from research, from what has been documented, that young babies really need their parents, and especially, I guess, their moms especially. But I was looking at a different study that was talking about how children need their parents even more from around age 12 up to around age 19. But then I'm thinking about it in terms of this is also the age where we don't see the need to be there, because let me give an example of probably a mom and dad that have to go to work. When this child is young, there's a house helper. But by the time they're like 12, we're like, okay, we don't even need a helper. So there's a possibility there's a child who's remaining at home by themselves. There's a possibility this is the age where we are taking them to boarding schools. In other words, we are interpreting their age as they need us less. But I think listening to you, that is not the situation. And then what you're saying is the problem is not just that we are not listening, it's that we are not even there in the first place. So from the children you've dealt with, at the moment with the business of life, what is taking more weight? Is it the listening, or is it even the not being there at all?
For me, I would say it is, because the listening and them being seen is determined by the presence. That this person is present. So when they are not present, that is when now there's no one to listen, so they've never been listened to. And that's why they will easily, when they hear someone else is listening to them, this person has actually, so they are drawn.
Okay.
So it is the absence, and then which now causes that drift from the listening bit. And just to get back from what you've said about the physical, we no longer need, they no longer, in the earlier years, it is more the physical need. The physical needs, the child needs you for that.
Yeah.
And that's why you have the house help, and we say we no longer need one.
Yeah.
But now when you go to the teenagehood, the adolescent period, it is now emotional need. It changes. Yes, the physical, the basic, they will do for themselves. If we have taught them to do them, that's another whole other discussion. They'll be able to do all these physical things. Now it transitions to emotional needs. And that's why it is even weightier and harder to meet these emotional needs than the physical needs, where you could have an house help do it. And so that's why this is also scary. And that's why you'd find even some parents pull away without knowing it. Because they notice this is emotional needs, because even for some of us, our emotional needs were never met or attended to by our parents, because they're also busy working out there. So that is the transition that occurs. And then now they are beginning to be alone. And that is the time their brain is opening up. They are thinking about their identity. They are thinking about how other people see them. They are thinking, am I a person of worth, purpose, and meaning? And they are alone. And then now we buy them gadgets, and they are just so you can see where now all that
the whole thing is a disconnect.
Yes,
and it is feeding to another cycle of a crisis, so to speak.
It is, and that's why we have now, the way we are saying, the anxious generation has become a common phrase, because this teen is there and they are anxious. Who am I? Where am I getting my purpose? Who is affirming me? Who is telling me that you can make it, you can do it? Apart from now the parent coming in and just correcting what needs to be improved. So they're anxious. They're wondering what is what. And if not that, they are depressed, because now they are feeling lonely, because they are more alone than than with someone there, with the parent present. And I think this is something that parents we do not see. It is the children need us. They need our presence, and we are not seeing it, because nowadays it's no longer absent fathers. We are having these absent mothers.
It's absent everybody.
So that is the greatest need that these children, even when sometimes they ignore, because a parent would say, and I try, but they don't want to talk to me and they connect. It's because maybe the approach is a bit, they have realized you've not been there, so they will resist. So you have to build the trust first. Yes, that I'm there, I will consistently be there. And then until now you warm up and you welcome me. Yes.
So there's absent dads, absent moms, absent grandmas, absent everybody. And I wonder whether that is why it feels like teenagers are more fragile nowadays. And you talked about having more cases of anxiety and that kind of thing. And I wonder whether it is that teenagers are more fragile today than they were in the past, or is the things that you're talking about, the fact that maybe they are more absent, or what has happened?
It's a mixture of several things. But the aspect of being more fragile, maybe one, this generation is free to talk about their emotions, what they are going through, and that's why we are having a hard time with them, because for us, but we are not used to being open. I am feeling sad. I'm struggling with this and all that. For us, we were taught, no, those are things you
deal with that.
You deal with that. We don't talk about these things. We are just talking about what is working. Do we have food, shelter, clothing? Are you in school? Are you all those things? Everything else you tuck in. And all that. But for this generation, it is more, we need to relate. We need to communicate. And that is how they will feel that aspect coming in. And that angle now is the one that is missing. Going back to your question, how you asked on the blend. How it is. So, and that is how now we are having that disconnect, because of that aspect of wanting that one-on-one communication more.
And going back to that disconnect, because I think there's a disconnect between what parents think they know, which I think mostly is assumptions, and then there's the what teens know, and they probably want their parents to know, or assuming their parents should know or should know, and it is not happening. And as you said right from the beginning, is that most teens feel misunderstood or not heard. But if they could sit down their parents for an honest conversation, what do you think they would say to their to their parents?
One, they would say, please listen to me.
Okay.
And when I do, when I make a mistake, please don't jump into correcting me without first understanding where I'm coming from. And it is the aspect of, you also do not know everything.
Yeah.
You should be open to even hearing the opinion and how like things.
Just because you're my mom, you don't know everything.
Yes, and they say it nowadays.
Okay.
They are. I'm
they
sure
tell you that. What
parents
do they say when they talk to you?
Even when they talk to me, for some, I realize even now for teens, I have to come there prepared because they are online.
Okay.
They can even come with a diagnosis. I think I am bipolar. Because sometimes I have this mood and I have this other mood.
All right.
I think maybe it's depression, maybe it's not. So they come having knowledge. And they know, and we need to listen to them. Yes. Okay. And approach them from that angle.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why we need to check when you're receiving your teen.
Yeah.
Assume you don't know. Yes, you know them, but in that conversation, assume you do not know, and you're learning something new. And it's true. The generations are different.
Yeah. And
chances are high you will learn something new. And so now, as you're having that conversation, as they're talking, paraphrasing, and showing an interest of learning.
Okay.
You know, you're saying this is what is happening. So how is that for you when you say you're feeling scared, or my friend is no longer talking to me? Because chances are high you will tell them, just that your friend not talking to you. You'll have so many of those. You'll have so many of those. So you have not.
I'm dismissing their pain.
Yes.
All right.
So until how is that for you? You know, you felt so. How was that for you? You know, I felt sad. I don't feel like eating.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now you're validating that you're feeling them, as in you're there with them.
Yeah.
Then at the end, towards then, that's when you can say, you know, part of that journey. You can use your example.
Yeah.
And then finally saying, part of that journey would be that you'll have friends. Sometimes you won't.
Yeah.
You know, relationships will not work. Then later they will work and all that.
Yeah.
But now the question becomes, at what the time that this parent will have to have such an extended conversation, and you've come home at 8:30 or 9.
I'm tired.
Yes.
And then I'm supposed to listen to you, repeat to you what you're saying, affirm, go back and forth.
Yes.
So it sounds like it is actually a lot of work. It's work, it's intentionality, and I wonder whether maybe that's why many of us are struggling, and especially because, as you said, especially our generation, most of us, I mean, our parents didn't have, it's you throw something, they throw something back at you, and you move on. That's even if you had that privilege. But it just reminded me of something that my daughter said in an episode that I did with her not long ago, and she said when they share their issues, whatever it is, we want to turn everything into a lecture, a life, whatever, and then this thing of in our days. That's completely dismissing my situation. I want to ask you, you talk to teens a lot. I'm sure you've had many things, good things and difficult things. You've had painful stories. So without sharing names, what are some of the stories that you've had that have really opened your eyes, or are really difficult for you to carry as you talk to them? Maybe
there's a closing part.
Okay, all right.
I'm wondering how I can share without, maybe generally.
Yes,
I think
that's
for
okay.
me, generally, what I have seen is the way, generally how the parents fail to understand where, that is really what I am seeing. It's the suffering that is there, and not seeing it from the child's perspective.
Okay.
Yeah, and generally looking at how the child needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
Where the child needs to be fixed, and not really us dealing with the entire thing.
Okay.
But for me, the greatest thing that I'm seeing is how we are not handling divorce and separation well.
Okay.
I would say that is because I think it leaves an impact, a huge one. And sometimes the teen doesn't realize that it's the one causing all the challenges they're having.
Okay.
Partly, not all, but a good chunk.
Yeah.
So divorce and separation, we need to rethink how we are handling it.
It's a big pain point for the ones you're listening to.
It's a huge one, and it is so common nowadays.
Yeah.
Yes, and this is where now the parent, because the teen will say, I am fine. Even when they come to the therapy room, they'll say, I'm fine. But as you go along, you hear the hurt, the pain, the desire for them to get back together, all that. It's heavier on them, the loss of their identity, because now they don't know who is who. Especially if one is talking negatively about the other and all that. So that is a major thing that we need to reconsider and rethink as parents, and how we can help the teen or the young adult manage and handle it individually, and even now as a group, because it's heavy.
All right.
It's heavy.
So that's one of the heaviest things that you are hearing coming across from them. All right. So then I think I also would want to ask, what then is a place of family stability in helping them have their own stability? And I'm not even necessarily talking about now the people who are going through separation or divorce, but just generally people who are a couple, you're married and what in the family setup. What's the place of family stability for teens?
It's the foundation. It's because it's the first point they come to once they are born. It's the family. This is the place where it will lay the foundation of their life, their identity, their view of others, and how, whether they'll be received or not, how they'll be received, the trust, the grounding and all that. So the family is the one that forms that foundation. And if that aspect is not, the stability is not there, and stability here, yes, we'd like it to be both parents in the same home, and it's healthy, but even if it's not that aspect, how are we bringing the stability, even minus this individual there? So it is that aspect of who they are and how we are helping them to grow as individuals, and the purpose they have, even the little things they are doing. We need to appreciate, and seeing that they are doing something, that even as they are growing and they are children and they are growing up, they need to know, I am in a world where I am needed, I have purpose, there's something I contribute. But now that is also, we are missing that, because children are not being given chores, or teenagers. We rob them of the opportunity of
feel
them
relevant.
to do something, and feel relevant. And then after completing it, for us coming and saying, that was a good job, that place is clean, or your room is superb. But now they don't have that, and that's why they end up feeling entitled as they go along.
All right.
Eventually, because now they believe everything is to be done for me, and all that. So that also is aspect of, we are robbing them of that opportunity too.
And they never learned the place of that feeling of fulfillment when you do something difficult and you accomplish it. So I've also taken away that from you, and I don't allow you to do difficult things and complete that. When you meet teens, can you, from the onset, pick out those who have grown up in healthy, stable families and those that maybe haven't? And what are the things that stand out for teens that are in stable, healthy families?
What you will notice is in a crowd you won't tell. So there are some you would see, if they, and in a group I would tell, this one is seeking attention, they want affirmation, and I will give it. I would notice. And some are somewhat mischievous. And there's a way, if you study them and look, you'll see this mischievousness is them wanting to be seen. They'll make a noise, they'll do what, and then I would say, I see you there, don't do that again. So I'm not, what are you doing? You need to be still and all that. There's
I see
you, because when you look at them in the eye, you can tell. That's why we need to have these face-to-face conversations. You can tell this person is doing it just for me to see them. Even my own children, they are at the age they are, I would know. I would see them the way they do something, they're looking at me and fine, that is not right, but this is, they want my attention. And so that is that aspect of coming in and knowing where they are coming from, and now being able to adjust to that level, or to the point, or the need that they have at that moment. I'm not sure if I have answered that question correctly.
I think I don't ask what are those things you spot from children that are from healthy families, that you can see this child is like this and this and this.
There's also something else, is the emotional regulation. They are able to regulate when something happens. They are able to know. They're able, if it's a disagreement, you can see they don't want to invest so much, or they walk away, or they look at you. But they're now someone who's not regulated. They'll be angry, outburst, and attitude and all that. And you will notice that aspect is a bit regulated. You'll notice the respect that is there.
Yeah.
And you'll notice even the way they are talking, you know, what they are saying, the way they are responding, you know, okay, that there was an adult there involved in helping you get to that point.
Okay.
You know, yeah, you can see when the way they are talking, you feel, you can even feel their parent and how they are bringing them up, as opposed to someone who you can tell they are mostly on their gadget, and their peers, even the way they answer the question, the way they respond, you can tell, and even their attitude towards you as an adult. They have picked an adult cannot tell me everything. That's a belief they get with time. You know, because they have been so disappointed by the adults, they're not there. An adult cannot tell me anything. So even as they come, they already show you an attitude. And they already dislike you.
Okay.
But then you have to know, it is not me they are disliking. It is the
experience that has informed this.
Yes, it is the adult in their life. They are disliking. They are you call it transference. They are transferring it to you.
Okay.
But then now having to show them respect and seeing them. So and when you do that, you realize they are not as difficult. You can work around them because someone else will come. They will see that attitude and they will dismiss them. And ignore them. Teachers, that's what teachers are doing, and coaches and all that. They see that attitude. Apart from, we thank God for teachers and coaches who read between the lines. And they transform this child, and it becomes, you're wondering if it's the same child. Because they pick that attitude they're having towards me, that the way they are talking, their body language, it is not me.
It's not it's not about me.
So let me prove myself that I am an adult who can be trusted, that I am an adult who respects them, and you'll see the shift. Though it needs patience. And that's what the time we do not have that time for patience as parents and the work we're in. And that's why we're also entering into the workspace. Because now the parents are at work. We call for trainings and the likes, not unless maybe it's a church setup. Or maybe it's school during the academic clinics. That's how now the teachers have realized, the schools have realized you can get the parents.
You can get the attention of the parents.
Yes, if you tell them for a mental health talk to help their child, they won't show up.
They're not available.
If there's an academic clinic, they will come, even the men.
So, and then you find a way to
somehow
put that in there.
Yes, because it's needed. It is really needed. And some of the challenges they're having, if you fix, because we have the area, the hippocampus, it's involved with memory and how people remember things. And it is affected when they are going through stresses in the environment. You'll realize if you deal with the stresses, their hippocampus, the memory area, the learning area, and all that region, it will be free to understand the academic side that you want them to perform. And that's how you will know that a child is going through a difficult, or an adolescent or whoever, the academics, they begin to.
Because that part of the brain is too loaded.
It's too
clogged. To focus on, to get maths and get English and everything else.
Exactly.
You said something very interesting that speaks of our priorities as parents. The fact that if you call for a session to talk to parents on how to help their teens, they'll not show up. Out here, they'll not show up. But if they are someone in school, in the name of academics, they will. That's interesting, and that speaks about our priorities. Does that mean that when it comes to our teens, that's where our priorities are, the A's and the, I don't know what else now.
Performance. The performance, and also now we are going more into these extracurricular activities. We are pushing them, football, swimming. They are coming up. We are seeing them. So we are pushing them in terms of performance, and that's where, and now the academic also. So that's where we are focusing more. But yet we are seeing this generation, their mental health is important. And that's why we are seeing even the workforce, the Gen Zs who are now entering the workforce. They are demanding for mental health days. They are demanding for a mental health, something to be done for a mental health week, or to have a department catering to that. I'm sure if you get a HR who's been there for some time, they will talk about the shift that is happening, because that is something that they missed. So they got the academics, they got the skills, but the inside person is not
the emotional and the mental part
is not attended to. And now, because I also see young adults, now they realize it later. They realize everything, I have this, I have that, but I am not okay. I'm still struggling. I'm still having those suicidal ideation. So now they are coming because they realize, oh boy, there's more to it than the academics, than the just knowing everything around the physical. There's the emotional bit that is also happening within me.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have those young adults who are slowly realizing it, or when we have mental health days or people are talking about it, or like what we are doing now, they realize and they realize, oh, this is where the disconnect is.
Yes. All right. And you've mentioned some a big word there. You know, these whole suicidal tendencies that are happening right now. Quite difficult, quite distressing for parents, quite scary even. And you know, in the recent past, I have seen statistics out there that are quite scary. I mean, a few days ago, there was an article on the newspaper, and it was a more person who was talking about, and it was one place, and they were saying on average during the weekends they are receiving, I think, between 25 to 30 young adults who've died as a result of suicide. That's just in a weekend, and that's just one facility. That to me is quite disturbing and scary. And I'm sure I'm not the only one who's seen, I mean, who saw that, and parents reading those kind of news. I mean, that's scary and that is distressing. But for you as a counselor and as a coach to them, and as you talk to them, how often is that coming up? And why is there such a, I don't want to say a tendency, but why is it becoming more common that their way of, that more, for more teenagers now, the way of dealing with challenges and difficulties is that thought or the temptation to, let me just end it. Yes.
Wow, that one, it involves a lot of things, but the suicidal ideation, because with a group of counselors, we discuss what we are going through. And it gets to a point where you're tired, you don't want to hear about suicide, because almost every client, because she deals with young people, that aspect of suicide ideation is coming a lot. It is there, it is true, it is really something that is there. But when someone gets to that point, it is meaning in life. They've lost, they have no meaning, they feel meaning and purpose is not there. And then where you can fall on that, I am still valued and I am still loved. You know? Not unless now you know Christ. And you have that committed relationship with him. Outside everything else that you're trying to, that will be a foundation that can help you to get out of it. But ideally it is that aspect of meaning. You know? Because they have been told, academic, do this, do that, you just work. Now they are adults. And they are not okay. Within and in their hearts, in their mind, they feel, I am not okay. Why am I sad? Why am I like this? You know, because now they are feeling, so why am I here? And that aspect, when you're feeling down, there's that point where you feel like, who is there? Who will miss me, or who loves me, or who values me? And it is not because of the things that you bought for this child that they will remember or that will come to you. It is the conversation. It is the one. It is you looking into their eyes and having that, and they know my mom, my dad truly loves me. Because if it is the material things, they will tell themselves in that suicidal ideation that if I go, they will not have me as an expense. They will save their money. It is all about, you know, now they don't have to think about me and what, because they realize the foundation is the material thing. It is not me as a person, you know, but my mom will miss me as an individual, not because I have performed. And that's why and that's why you find the tipping point. If the ideation was there, the tipping point, it was that performance. And then job imeisha, you know, or something happens and they are not, or that relationship that the father or mother they value, they loved, that
has come to an end.
That is the tipping point. They say, okay, the thing that was holding me, like the value I had for my parents and all that,
it's gone.
So
what's there to live for?
Yes, what's there? What's more? So that is what now causes that that aspect where now you feel you're totally alone and there's no one really who is there that will miss me or that will be there for me and all that. There is that, and that's why I usually say, we need, that's why the faith aspect is important. Knowing our value in Christ and knowing God, that you are creator, that God is your creator. Even if you didn't have that foundation that we are saying with parents who are there and they know you, and or you didn't even have a father present, so and all that. Christ is, and God is the reason for our living. He gave you the purpose and there's a reason. Ultimately, you belong to him. Not even to your parents, there's something more to it, and that's where now we need the faith aspect becomes important. Because as parents we will fail. And one of the greatest gifts we can give our children is them knowing Jesus Christ and knowing God and knowing that beyond me you are living for Him. Outside there, when I am not there, when you feel alone, God is present and He's with you throughout.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah.
And I love that because everything else will be shaken. Career will be shaken. Relationships will be shaken. Finances will be shaken. Even family relationships will be shaken. I love what you're saying because then there has to be a greater grounding on something that is unshakable. And that definitely, I mean, our faith in Christ. And you've actually spoken of something that I wanted to ask you, because I wanted to ask the place of identity and the place of faith and the place of hope and how important that is. But how then can we as parents help our teenagers be rooted in their faith? Because in the same measure, it's teenagers who we are seeing more disinterested in them to be in faith communities and church and what. So how can we help our children get rooted in their faith?
As you said, it's help mostly, and it is influence, but you cannot control whether they will choose to have a relationship with God or not. Okay? So it is us how we influence, and it starts from the earlier age. And it is mostly by our actions, how we are modeling them.
I love that, starting at an earlier age.
Yes, as we go along. And then how are we modeling? You know, are we the ones who study the Bible? Are we the ones who have that discussion about the Bible and having even Bible study at home? You know, even if it's not every day, because that might be hard to hack. But just having it regularly and then teaching them from the Word. Because I'm telling you, if you study the Bible, you don't even need these trainings. You don't even need me as a therapist. You will handle all life scenarios.
It has everything we need.
We should start with the book of Matthew for those who want to start. All those stories. It's good because they are stories. But my friend, you'll be reading and you'll be like, okay, we are supposed to discuss this. As someone is reading, you know, in that Bible study. So that can help, that grounding. And then when they are teenagers, adolescents, allow them to ask those questions.
Okay.
They will test. It will move.
The questions will come.
Yes, the questions will come. Am I believing this God because it's my parents? You see, even Jacob went through that. He began with the God of my father Abraham, the God of my father Isaac. Until he wondered. Finally, during that encounter, he was able to.
Yes.
He's my God.
Me.
So even your child will question, and I usually tell parents, it's not if, it is when
it will come.
They will question the God or the religion you've introduced them to.
All right.
So hopefully now you'll be able to be open to having those discussions. You know, and why you believe what you believe and the evidence. And don't just say about just faith. This generation information is out there. Don't just say faith only. Yes, this faith is grounded on this. What is the proof that is there? And then now when we hear that, we feel, oh, they are challenging, oh, they are not believing, oh, that is, we need to pray for them. And yes, we really panic. But they want that discussion about faith so that now they believe it for themselves.
Okay.
Because even someone like me, I did that. I went to campus and I took philosophy.
All right.
And for me, why I was going is this discussion about, is God real? Is God? Yes. For me, that was the reason why I took it
you're doing philosophy? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Philosophy and psychology.
All right.
Yes. So I had questions. I wanted to know, by the way, for me, is this God? I wanted to hear from the other side.
Okay.
That philosophy, if there's a God or not. But if I was just going philosophy, my parents won't. Anyway. So, and then after first year, when now we were going, that's when now I majored in psychology, because I realized, okay, I've listened to your arguments, you know, and now the experience I've had and the journey I've had, okay, now I'm good. Now I know that there is a. So for me, that was the journey I had to go through. And for everyone else, you need to allow it and be ready to have those discussions. If they don't start them, especially for someone who is in the church and in leadership, you are the one to start.
Trigger them.
Should have those, because we are having, and that's why we're having children of pastors later walking away, or pastors of church leaders, or they are there but they are not there. They are not born again. Yes, they say, but they are not, because we have not allowed them to go through. We've not welcomed that discussion so that they have we assume because they're in this home they will just believe
Okay.
and all that, and within they don't, and maybe that's why you find later as adults they walk away.
All right.
And they do that. So let's welcome. It doesn't mean as the question they are going, you know,
Yeah.
we will pray for them. We
Yeah.
only influence. We usually say you influence. It is ultimately God who calls someone to himself.
Very
it is
true.
Not you as a parent. Yeah.
Very true. I keep saying we do our part and
Yeah.
then we let God handle his department. And transformation is definitely God's department.
Yeah.
You know, he says we plant the seed, we water, but fruit, he says, ultimately belongs to him.
Exactly.
So you do your part and stop stressing over God's department.
Yes.
Their hearts and transformation and salvation, that is in God's department. But do your part as well, because if you don't plant and don't water, then how is he working out fruit?
Yes.
Even though God is a God of grace, without doing it, I know there are people who he has reached through other means and has allowed other spaces to plant and water where we as parents did. So I know he's a very gracious God, and he's a God who pursues prodigals, and that for me is assuring, so that, as you're saying, we don't jump into crisis and panic mode when they start expressing their curiosity and asking questions. And that also means that I should not always celebrate over compliance. I should.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just make sure you the over compliance is from a good point, not from I'm just doing it for mom or dad or because we are. In the younger years they will do it. They will do it, allowing them to do it just to please you, and as they grow and to take advantage. That word, yes. English, I don't say, you know, you have. So that when they are questioning, you laid the foundation. They will reference those things that you taught them. And then just as point to add here, this generation is interested in spirituality. Okay. And I'm beginning to realize that is an angle that we can no longer afford to ignore, even as parents, as individuals, as the church, as whichever the religious, spirituality. And we're seeing even from what they are interacting with on social media and on the movies they are watching, even the cartoons, it's becoming so dark and all that. So that is a discussion that we can no longer avoid. Spirituality is important for this young people. This generation is, they are seeking the universe, and all those things, and reading my star, and the energies and whatever. Yes. Okay. So it's a discussion that will need to be done.
All right. Yeah. So listen, also be curious, but open the space up for conversation so that we can guide. A few more practical guides for parents. What are the things that I should watch out for? And you just mentioned, the part of over-compliance is not a good thing, but what are the few other things the warning signs that you can look out for in your teenager to know that they are struggling and something needs, intervention is needed?
Okay.
Yeah.
Because we start from, you need now to know them.
Yep.
When they are okay, when they are typical, let me say normal, quote unquote normal, they're so once the deviation begins to happen, you notice. Yeah. So once you know, if they are talkative, they stop talking, if they are someone who was quote unquote introverted, certainly they don't want to be alone, they want to be people, maybe they are avoiding being alone because they are going through a certain, so it's not, so you need to know your child first, as they are. That's why a parent who doesn't know, they will realize what happened
when it's a bit
because they haven't spent time to know them. So once you know the deviation. But generally, the sadness, extreme sadness, we can be sad, but the one that is no smiling, no, as in extending even for 2 weeks, a month, they're just sad. Okay. Change in appetite. Talk that is all negative. They're just all, and it begins with simple talk that is negative until finally someone will ask what's the point of living, why are people on planet. So now that is now going to the extreme. But generally they'll just have a negative outlook about everything. All right. It will be them being a bit anxious. You notice they're not able to settle or to do things, or even academic it will drop. All right. Rebellious behavior. Okay. Because when you do assessments, because I'm a clinical psychologist, when you do assessment for children who are teens, who are rebellious, somehow a good chunk of them, depression is usually high. Okay. Yes. Yeah. All right. So they're just trying to act out, as in they're feeling, so they're acting out just to see if they will get relief or or they will get that attention, or they will be seeing. So rebellion also, if you're seeing it's coming up, you need to really check. As much as yes, you're disciplining, but trying to see why is it coming, the root cause and all that.
Yeah.
So such things should be a warning sign. Cutting, those are now extreme. When they are self-harming,
yes,
and all that, those are now the extreme areas. Yeah.
All right. Things like maybe eating and what. So I mean, those are things to also look out for.
Yeah.
All right. And you mentioned something, Jane, that I think I would want to talk about another time, because that's a whole conversation by itself. How to deal with discipline at this age. You know, when they're younger, it's a bit easier. But then at this point, they're not. I mean, they're still children,
Yes.
even though, yes, they are in a place where we are giving them their independence and what. So, how to deal with discipline at that time and not have it translate to conflict that now we can no longer resolve. But I feel like that is something that I would want to talk about another time. I want to ask though, when my parents shut down, they will not talk to me. What should I do as a parent? Obviously, as you say, maybe that's can be a red flag depending on how your child is.
Yes.
But if your teenager shuts down, what do you do as a parent?
One is not okay. There's that aspect of knowing what could have changed in the environment, or what has happened, either in the immediate, either in the school, or something has happened. Just knowing if you can pinpoint what could have happened.
Yeah.
But ideally, they are the ones who can only share what they are going through. But going to them and saying, I am here for you.
Yeah.
I would like just to listen when you're ready.
Yeah.
And if they do not want to talk, you can just tell them, can I sit with you for 5 minutes? Even if you're not talking, we're just here. Right. And slowly by slowly, you'll be able slowly to win them over to your side, whereby now they can open up. But it's a journey where I am here for you, I love you, we care about you, we value you. Because when someone shuts down, they have a lot of negative thoughts. So affirming that we need you, we love you, whether you're performing, whether you're not, that aspect is important, and being there for them.
Yeah.
And when they open up, not correcting at that point, not advising, not judging, just listening, and say, what do you want me to do? Is there anything? Wait, you just, because now they need to know that you can listen. Because when someone shuts down, even for us as adults, when you shut down, you realize, this person is not listening, is not, and so let me just keep quiet. So maybe that is the point where your child or your teenager has gotten to. So even you, when they start, you just listen and don't
listen, don't judge.
Yes.
Jen, sometimes that's easier said than done. Because I'm imagining a child who chooses to open up and they start telling you crazy things, like they are on drugs, they are watching pornography, they are even involved sexually. To hold your calm as a parent, I also feel like to parent a teen, not just to parent a teen, to parent any child, a lot of work also needs to be done on self. Because that's, and rightfully so, as a parent, I've invested a lot in you to now come and tell me how you're in drugs and how you're in crime and things like that. To hold it together, honestly, it's doable, but I think it's easier said
than done. Because you've said a statement, I have invested a lot.
So entitlement.
Yes.
As a parent, that needs to be checked. All right, that's a good one.
That is usually the starting point. And yes, it's true. We are human beings. We'll explode. We will feel and the likes and all that. But then it's coming to. So even after I do that, how have I helped the situation?
Okay.
And this is something a parent of an adult child who's in maybe quote unquote addiction would understand, because you've done all that, you've shouted, you've taken away privileges, you've done what? Now you've gotten to a point of so now, as it's now you're ready to listen, or you're ready just to let that person be, or like the prodigal son. Where the father had to release him and treat as if he was dead, and himself as if
he was dead,
until they met. That boy met with God.
True.
So and that's what maybe parents of adult children, that is where now they get, whereby now you. But for as a parent of a teen, we want to take action. But from us coming from the therapy side, it's now coming to understand where was it? Because any addiction or any whatever kind of, whether it's pornography, alcohol, all those things, it's an emotional need. one, it's either an emotional need that we are avoiding, or the thoughts.
Yeah.
They are becoming overwhelming. I need to quiet these thoughts.
Yeah.
So that's why I need the alcohol, just to quiet what I'm going through.
Okay.
Or the emotions are overwhelming. So when I do this, it will help me just, I am bottled up so much. I have learned I shouldn't, share what I am feeling. So it is all within.
Yeah.
And I need a release, and that's how pornography comes in.
Okay.
And the masturbation and all those things that we deal with the young people and all that.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's a topic we're dealing with them. I talk freely.
Yeah.
And that's where now it comes, and we look for the foundation as we go along. Even as we pray to God, and even as it is still, we call it out as sin, because we come from the Christian perspective.
Yeah.
It is. But let us not. We allow the word of God. That's why I say Bible study is very important. We allow the word of God to bring it in.
Yeah.
And the Holy Spirit will.
Yeah.
Yes. If you consistently, I know you're using alcohol or whatever, but I know it is, and you share your concern and all that, but then we continue with the Bible study, we continue with whichever help, and then trust the Holy Spirit will, for those who are believers, that even as you continue with the study of the Word and of God, will minister to that heart.
True.
And the transformation will occur.
Yeah, very true. And you don't even have to apologize, because you know that the Word of God is not shy of dealing with these things. The Word of God is very open. It's dealing with all these things, whether it's drugs, whether it's sexuality, whether it's whatever it is. It's dealing with these things, and they need to be dealt with. And it's good to hear that you are having those kind of conversations, even on things that sound a bit almost like taboo in the African culture, when we're talking about masturbation, pornography, abortions. These are things that young people are going through, drugs, whatever it is. And somebody needs to talk about them. It's just unfortunate that I think for many people that's been delegated to, the coaches, the counselors, and what. We are growing as a people, and hopefully, and I pray that we can get to a place where these are conversations that can be had freely and openly at home. But that's why I said I think I would want to have another conversation on the area of discipline, because then now the line between I love you and I'm supporting you, but then there are things which are a no. Drawing that line can be it can be a fragile place for parents, and that's a conversation to have. But I want us to conclude this conversation on a place of just hope and encouragement, that despite the challenges that are happening, teenagers are also people that are incredibly resilient, because they go through a lot, they process a lot. What my daughter might be going through, and to me is a small thing, it's not really that it's a small thing, it's just that I've had a lot of experience for me to now retrospectively look back and be like, that's a small thing, but for them in that moment it is. And so I want to ask you if you could give parents maybe just 3 pieces of advice to help their teenagers thrive in today's world, because also the world they're growing up is definitely not easy. We can't even compare their time and that time. It is extremely difficult to battle everything that is going on with a mind that is not even fully mature to be handling these kind of things. So what would you tell parents to help their teenagers thrive?
For me, I would say they need you more than you think. Okay. You have no idea how much your teen, especially this generation, they need the parent.
Yeah,
you are their best cheerleader. No, as in, there is no other person in this world. Maybe later when they get married, but right now, you are the best cheerleader. An affirmation from the parent means so much more.
Yeah.
Okay, than anything. So number one, it is your presence and being there to affirm them and to listen to them.
Yeah.
If possible, every week, just set, even if it's in the evening or the weekend.
Yeah.
Have one-on-one where you're able to look into their eyes. There's a way the eye, that's another whole discussion, but looking into someone's eyes and face and all that, it also registered. It's registered, the brain registers it, care, concern. They need to see it.
Yeah.
Because when someone is going through that dark period, they remember that. They remember, it's not the word, sometimes it's how I was being looked at, how I was being. So there is that, being present every week if possible.
Yeah.
And that aspect of allowing them now to releasing them to the level that you can, allowing them also to be part of the decision making.
Okay.
It's more of now a coach. You are more of a coach now and less of, I usually say head teacher and coach.
Okay.
Head teacher, these are the rules. If you don't follow, punishment.
A
coach, we're working together. So what do you think? So where can we adjust?
Yes.
You know, oh yeah, that was good. But we need to trace back. You know, that, so you need to be more of a coach, being available to do that, and offering that guidance and the likes. Mostly it is that, and if possible, the word of, we need to teach them the word, to have Bible study, teaching them the word of God. Not only going to church. Not only having it at home. It really helps a lot. You don't even need a training manual. Okay, I have a training manual, but I am telling you that you need the Bible.
Just sit with it. Just in itself.
Yes, and it will help you. Because sometimes parents, we are stressed. We don't start this conversation because we're wondering, how will we start them? What are we discussing? How will we just take, and we are reading, and then now find life lessons there, discuss it, all that. So
all right.
Possible, all that.
I like to say, pray more than you panic.
Yes.
Because I'm not even sure. God in itself knows how to work itself in our hearts and in our lives. I want you, however, to just look at the camera and speak to a parent who's listening to us, and for them, they're thinking, us guys have already crossed the line of me trying to listen, and things are already bad, terrible. I am giving up even. And I remember an auntie of mine one time telling me, and in mother tongue it sounds very strong, and she said, if children could be returned to the womb, this one I would return, because things were bad and terrible. So there's that parent who's listening to this and thinking, us guys, we already crossed, we no longer talk. I have no idea even where my child is, or things are already, we've done 3 rehabs, what things are bad, and they're feeling overwhelmed, and they're feeling like giving up. I want you to speak to that parent in that camera.
And to such a parent, number one, I would say is breathe in, breathe out, and relax, and now it's time to think about yourself, because most of the time what happens is you spend so much energy on this child who, quote unquote, is getting lost. Okay, so sit back, think about yourself, recover. Recover first, and after that, now you need to separate yourself and know that there is the much you can do, and the other, you need to trust God that He can transform that heart, that sometimes it needs you to release that burden. Because you're carrying a heavy weight, and we are told we go to Christ, we give Him this heavy weight that you are carrying, and He'll give us a yoke that is easy. So maybe that is the point that you need to get to, and God is waiting for you to get to that point, so that He can finally help and minister to your child. So trust in God. Also take care of yourself, self-care, because sometimes what happens, this child realizes that this change is it's my parent who wants it so badly that I don't even need, so they no longer attend to it, because they say, even this change is for my parent, it's not for me. They have not gotten to see that it is me, it is my life. So once you step back, let them be able to look at themselves in the mirror and see who they are and where they are headed to, and pray for them.
I love that. Pray for them. Pray more than you panic. Pray more than you worry.
It's true.
Pray more than you ponder. Pray more than you try to fix.
True.
Thank you so much, Jane, and that's a beautiful way to conclude. At the end of the day, it's also a reminder of our insufficiency. These are human beings, full human beings. We can't. We're only stewards. There's only so much we can do, and fixing is not one of those things that we can. So we do our part and leave the rest to. We let God handle His department. But thank you for concluding it on that point, that it's not over just because things are messed up. There's hope. God is a God who redeems prodigals. Thank you so much, guys. That's also all there was from Jen and I. There is still more to talk about when it comes to handling teenagers. So once again, leave your comments, leave your questions, and leave your feedback. Subscribe, share this with a parent that needs to listen to it, or even a teenager, and then come back for more. But for today, thank you for giving us your time. I'll leave ways in which you can find Jen in the captions section if you need to reach out, if you need help. But thank you so much. As always, this is a place where we build godly families and families that we are proud of. Until next time, bye-bye and God bless you.